Welcome to Corey Carves, your one-stop spot for all your carving needs. So this channel is going to be all about carving, all sorts of different carving, from knives to Dremel tools or power carving, and chainsaw carving when I get a chance. Now I don't always have a chainsaw available because I actually don't own one yet, but when I have one, we're going to be doing chainsaw carving. I have a Dremel, so I'll be doing lots of Dremel carving while on my sailboat, and lots of knife carving. But for now, I'm really into chainsaw carving while I've got a chainsaw. I've found a new addiction of mine, chainsaw carving. Just kind of watched some videos and got inspired by a few different things. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll do a little time lapse of some of the carving just for fun, and we'll see what it ends up. Who knows? Might chop off a huge section, but it's all for fun anyway. Do 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 do. Almost done. Having some fun, doing some carving. Go through different stages of things that I like to play around with, and right now that's carving. So I'm just carving actually a walking stick for my mom. Hey guys, so I've really been into chainsaw carving lately. It's just kind of started watching some people like Ryan Cook and Jordy. Been watching a few YouTubers and really getting into carving. Started out carving with Doug, doing some whittling, and now I'm onto some chainsaw carving. Really not that experienced with a chainsaw, but I've been gaining more and more confidence with it and completing some projects. I've realized how much I enjoy watching other people carve with the chainsaw, so I thought I would contribute to the stockpile of footage out there of people carving and show you my latest carve. So we're here in my little workshop here that I've kind of custom made here at my parent-in-law's. Already got a little bear that I'm in the process of completing. Still got to do some final details with a Dremel and a couple other tools, but I got all the fur going and whatnot. But this is the piece that we're gonna work on today. You can't quite make it out. I've already made a few cuts here on the sides, just kind of getting rid of some material, blocking it out. And you know what? There's not very much light here, so let's get some more light going on. Perfect. A little more lighting. All right, so basically my goal here is I'm trying to carve a tree, more of a scene, because in the past all I've done was, you know, bears and just kind of messing around with a couple other little projects. But I'm trying to do a larger project here where, I mean, it's still the same size as that bear, but more of a scene. So my goal is to have a cub kind of, here's the back side of the cub, and he's just leaning over, wedged between a Y on this tree, and then there's another cub down here. Here's his head, and he's gonna be hanging out here on the floor. And then there'll be a tree kind of wrapping around over here. Here's the Y. And there'll be a hole in the tree here, ideally with a owl's head. I've never carved an owl, so we'll see how this turns out. But yeah, so we're just gonna do some blocking out. I'll try to get a good camera angle and we'll see how it goes. So as you might be able to tell, I'm kind of just been whittling away here at these bears, not really doing big cuts. And that's because I it was wet wood when I peeled off the bark, and my marker wasn't really making lines, so I was trying to draw with the chainsaw, and my proportions were just very basic when I was trying to get the idea down. But now that I'm trying to actually carve into the wood, I'm realizing that my proportions, like my legs and my arms, were too short, so I had to kind of adjust for that. And so now I think I've got a rough idea of what I want, and hopefully I'll be able to make some bigger cuts. But my thinking is trying to keep the bears' heads a little bit bigger in general so they look a little more cub-like. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm about where I need to be to start my owl, because I don't want to carve too much on the back side of the owl until I know how deep I need to go. And I've already kind of messed up one of the bear's face is a little too skinny, so I might end up gluing a chunk on or reorienting the face, but I'm starting to get in too deep where my overcuts are starting to matter, so I got to start paying closer attention and slow down a little bit. But let's see if we can get an owl face drawn in here. To be fair, I'm not 100% sure how to do an owl, so we'll see how this goes. Alright guys, I think that's enough for me for today. I got a decent amount of detail in. I think the rest I'm just gonna keep pounding away, and I'll show you closer to the finished product, because at this point I've got all my basic shapes in, and I just gotta keep kind of you know, whittling away, making it a little deeper where I need to go deeper, and seeing what I need to do. So here's the product so far. So we got the top bear kind of reaching down for his little buddy here. I did make his jaw a little too thin, or his cheek a little too thin here, I believe. So I might add a piece there depending on how this ends up kind of whittling down to carve his face. I mean, you can kind of see the two noses, his body down here, and he's wrapping around, holding on to the side of the tree. Let's turn this around a little. Okay, and here's his butt. I don't know, I didn't really give him any legs, I didn't have any room for it, so his feet are kind of sunk in. He's on his knees on the top of the tree, which now I've got a little bit of a roughed in owl head. And then the tree swoops around and continues over here again where we have the bears playing. So anyway, hopefully you enjoy the rest of this. I'll show you the final product. Maybe I'll do a little more carving in time-lapse mode, but I just figure it's gotta be kind of boring because I'm not doing any really big cuts at this point. It's just a little small changes, I guess. I kind of decided to do a little change here. I want to separate the faces from the actual tree. So I've decided I'm going to attempt to do a precarious plunge cut through here over to this side, without hopefully taking out any of the arm here because it's already skinny enough, and also without messing up my owl on this side. Alright, as you can see, we have our cut. So I gotta hollow this out a little more, but now that I got my triangle cut, it should be relatively easy. Right on. It's gonna look pretty cool, I think. This was me starting out. I really didn't know what I was doing. But we gotta start somewhere, right? And I always find value just watching other people and the way that they do things.